Some of you have received a diagnosis in which how many of you actually received the diagnosis of lifeline karma? Just one second. Lifeline karma. How many? Okay, so some of you received. Okay. So lifeline karma showed, there was a graph of, this is positive, this is negative. This line represents life energy, okay? Life energy, okay? And this represented time in years, okay? Now, what I've done is I've marked, I didn't go into the future, okay? I didn't go into the future because it's something that we are working on right now. And I didn't go into the past lives, okay? I didn't go into past lives. I've taken your birth date, right? And what I've done is, and the moment of diagnosis, right? The day of diagnosis, or moment, day of diagnosis. And what I've done is I've connected to the energy. I asked, a question of what happened in your life, and I pretty much gone like this, okay? Literally, I allowed the energy to guide me through, just like you're allowing the energy to guide you through the meditation. Except my purpose, my direction, had a different meaning. You gave me permission to do that, and we connected together. And what I've done is, then I've shown you at which intervals of your life, okay, your energy, I didn't talk about the positive, I only talked about the negatives, but they were also positive, there was also peaks, right, and valleys. And I found that, it was a pretty interesting match between what you could remember in your life and between what it showed on the graph of where there was a significant shock, drain, reactive, remember reactive, from you in those moments in your life. Which means that there was a drain, okay, a conflict that it's almost, and I'll show you in a second how it works with the karmic level, that is still draining your life today on an unconscious level. Because some of those things may have happened when you were very young, 2 years old, 1 year old, 5-year-old. But even if you do remember those moments, we tend to naturally, just for the sake of survival, we tend to either have a loss of memory of those moments. Some of you may experience that certain years of your life you don't remember. It's a natural protective mechanism. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very good. You literally lose some years of your life. And those years is when the shock was the greatest and where you needed to be not in the memory mode, not in the conscious state. And you lose those years of your life, you don't remember them. But what's unfortunate is that your system internally remembers. And it's draining you. And on an unconscious level right now. You're trying to move forward, but it's pulling you down, and you don't even know it. Now, as it's continuing to pull you down, I would say, okay, no big deal, I can be stronger. The trouble is that it actually, the effect of it grows, and it becomes, remember, from the karmic to the emotional, to the mind, mental, right? To the physical, to the action, and to the reaction. That's how reality is built. This is how reality is built. And remember, if it's draining you on this level, then it's affecting you, and eventually it starts affecting you emotionally. It becomes a chronic emotional discomfort. It grows and grows, uncomfortable. Then it becomes a mind, and we get lost and confused, and now you have clarity of the mind. We just reached a moment of clarity, we pretty much live in a fog, you know, fog, yeah? And we don't know, we're numbed. And then it becomes physical, and it expresses in the spine, in the stiffness in the spine, and then after the spine, for those of you who know the connection, the neural connections between in the spine to your organs and systems, eventually organs and systems are also affected, and a lot of the illnesses, unfortunately today, have to do with chest and throat connections, lungs, heart, chest, and throat, immunity, thyroid, and so forth. Yes, those are the problems, as well as, of course, cancer. But cancer is another. It's an overall illness, not specific illness to one organ or system. But in a sense, I have to say it, even though it may not be so politically correct, but in a sense, energetically, cancer is the proving of uniqueness and individuality without recognizing unity of those cells. And if you know, cancer comes from stem cells. Stem cells, right? Actually, they discovered it just a few years ago. We had a course on stem cells about 10 years ago, probably, to recognize it. And stem cells, I call it spiritual cell, right? Because it gives itself to every system, to every body part. Gives itself a way to strengthen it and to complete it. It comes from the embryos, right? And every body part and system in our body today has stem cells that are ready. They're sitting there. They're so in such unity that are ready to replace and to help any body part that requires them. And I say they're spiritual cells, and I call cancer cells spiritual cells gone bad, right? Because they lose that quality, and the opposite happens. So cancer cells are actually stem cells who lost their connection to the need of the organ or the system they're part of. The complete opposite. That's all. We bring that back, the connection, we don't have to fight it. Okay. But anyway, it's another story. So, here we go. Now, the idea is, and let me just show you another one. We talked about today about the progressive expression of who we are. First it was the first chakra experience, right? And then it was the second chakra experience, which became division of cells. Then it was the formation of physical body, right? Then it was recognition of self, okay? Then it was recognition of self amongst other people, connection with others. Then it was recognition of past and future. Then it was recognition of unity of the entire system. This is correct? This is our body. Okay? This is our body. This is the sixth chakra. Those are the eyes. And that's a little lower, right? The fifth, of course, is a little lower. It's the neck area, okay? And the chest. Now, our goal is, of course, to start moving in our recognition higher and higher to intuition from instinct. That's what we're doing energetically. To do that, we need to let go of the blockages of the past. And I'll show you what they look like. I'll show you how they're affecting us. And then I'll tell you a little bit of where we're going with this. Okay? I believe everything that happens in this universe comes from one source. Call it by any name you want, but how do I know it comes from one source? Very simple. For me, I'm very logical as well as hopefully very creative in my ways. And my logic says that for something to exist, okay, in the same plane, it has to have at least one thing in common. Otherwise, it can't exist in the same plane. Something has to be in common between me and you for us to be in the same room, for us to be in the same environment, for us to be in the same world. At least one thing needs to be in common. Whatever is in common with everything is that one. The one common denominator between everything. Right? So if there were two sources, then the one thing that is in common between those two is that. Recently, they actually were trying to find what is in the physical experience, and they called it God's particle. Those of you who've heard of the super collider and so forth, they finally found the God's particle. I believe, and they believe that was what they found is that one common thing in the physical reality that unites everything, that makes everything be physical. But I'm talking about the one common thing on the other side that allows everything to exist even before it becomes physical. For the program to exist, let's say, instead of just manifestation of it in a physical life. For the program to exist. So even there, the same laws apply. So that one common thing, I believe, it pretty much resonates into this world, but before it resonates, it has what I call karmic screens. And I believe there are 40 of those karmic screens. And that light, that one common denominator that shines through those karmic screens would, once it passes through them, it would express whatever it is that we know as reality, as physical reality. In this case, when we're working with ourselves, this is us. What's unique about us is not that we have the common denominator. We all have it. What's unique about us is where our karmic screens are closed and where they're open. And according to the closures and the opening of the karmic screens, here we are. Okay? I believe that 99 or so % of those screens are closed. What we experience in here today is only maybe 1%, 1 to 2% of our own potential. That's all. Our goal in life, as we said, movement from instinct to intuition, or in the process of moving from instinct to intuition, what we are doing is we are clearing our karmic screens or clearing our karma. In the process of moving from instinct to intuition, which is either a process of trial and error through everyday life, get upset, get angry, get ill, try and recover, that's instinctive way, or work inwards, raise the energy, learn how to correct and open, go into the life, and be guided. Two ways. Or, like I said, somewhere in between. We could not be that perfect to always be guided. But as I said, we move slowly from being instinctive to being from third to sixth. The process, the path, the journey, every single moment opens more and more of the screens, gives us more and more health, because health is really freeing of potential. The body responds to it as health. And when the potential is not being freed, when the momentum is in the wrong direction, it's illness. The signs, the signal. We only have 5 senses. The signals are all the same. Okay? Beautiful. Clear? Next graph. So this is what we're learning to do. Okay? Next graph. Which is, for those of you who do choose to take the next step and to learn the tools, this is where we're going to go together. Everybody knows that everything in the universe, as it manifests, it resonates, right? It is not moving, it's resonating. right? We know that in energy level, which means that who we are must be resonating as well. But how is it resonating? Well, it's resonating from the center, and it resonates in all directions, right? So there is a resonance of who we are. So let me show you what I believe our true structure is if we put it graphically. We're looking at the 7th chakra, and the 7th chakra is the highest potential, and it is the center of who we are, not the top of who we are. We think as the top because we only experience the physical energy of the chakras, the physical expressions. But I suggest that the 7th chakra is the center of who we are. Therefore, there must be an experience somewhere else. So let's look first at the physical. And we talked about there's the 6th, there's the 5th, there's the 4th, there's the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. That is the here and now, the expression of every moment in our physical experience. I don't know if I spell it right, but did I spell it right or did I misspell something? Experience, right? Okay. So this is our physical experience. I believe that we also have our ideal state. I believe we have a program, an ideal state that where I said the 99% is, and I think our ideal state has an exactly the same format, except it is not blocked by karma, by karmic blockages. Okay? Which means it would be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It would graphically be represented, okay, as that makes sense? As the exact reflection of who we are today. Now, as the exact reflection, and because I said that the ratio is 99 to 1, right? To some degree, it's the exact opposite. Right? It must be, right? Remember, it is not opposite in the physical expression, but it's the opposite in how the experience is. It's too much to take on ourselves right now. Let's look at it just simply. The one place that we have in common between our ideal state and our current state is our 7th chakra. It's common. Others, if you can see, is the resonance. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what's going on? This is the highest potential, where both the past and the future lie in the same place, where we are going. And this is the current manifestation of every moment, current manifestation of every moment, which I've diagnosed for you. Okay? Remember those curves that I marked that are holding us back here? This is what they look like here. They literally look like dark spots on our karmic level. And those dark spots are being given time to come down. That time is given because we have something that buffers us and gives us time to correct before they arrive. Here they're already in their potential, depending on where they are, on which energy they associate with. Their potential will be manifested in a very specific experience. Physical, emotional, mental, or life experience. How should I say it? Why? Because it's the same resonance, right? If one follows another. It's either emotional, mind, physical, or life experience, right? This is life. So it's all one resonance. So whatever that is that is self-created, in a sense, and those actually happen in our past life as well, we bring them into this life, and I'll show you in a second how it looks. Suddenly, you have those which are not yet a problem because they have just in their energetic way. But they're growing, and growing in which way? What does growing mean? Growing means that they're coming closer, closer into manifesting themselves into the physical experience, into the now. And they're already there. They're there from the past life. They're there from this life. But we don't know they're there because it's in an unconscious place. There's no consciousness here for us. We're not conscious in our ideal state, in our ideal state, right? We're not conscious there, in our potential, highest potential, right? State. I can't spell. Okay? So they're coming down. We get time. What do we do with this time? It's up to us. If and when we work on the level of the karma, not only on the level of the mind. Because we could work on all levels. What we do is whatever we're being taught, right? We're taught that you can change your life, right? So you go and you try and change your life. You change your job, you change the people you're friends with, you change the place where you live, you change all of those things, and what happens? After a certain while, it all seems to be exactly the same with the new people. In the new job. I mean, why? Because whoever we are, there we go. It doesn't change. And then we say, okay, we got to change our actions. And then it's a conflict between who we are and the actions we take. How long can you take that for? Not very long. And then you are even deeper because you self, reflect. Or change the thought that you have. So you repeat certain thing so the mind doesn't think. And with all the respects, it could help a little bit, but after a while, it catches up to you. Because inside, on our conscious level, it's still the same. Anyway, so it depends on who's teaching you. Some sciences talk about the physical. Change the physical. Eat right. And eat right, yes. Exercise, yes. Get physical treatment, yes. But don't misunderstand it for the entire system, for the entire cycle. And still address that. Okay? Work with energy in the chakras, yes. On the emotional level, yes. But recognize that when you're working with energy in the chakras, you're only working on this. And you're not touching this yet. So there's another deeper connection. Bottom line is this. You can't take away your past. And you're not supposed to. Your historical past will stay there exactly the way it is right now. You won't change that. It doesn't matter. You don't need to. The opposite is true. The moment you change your energy, you will be able to use your historical past instead of a blockage. It will give you light. It will help you open. And that's what we're doing in our work here. Again, not on the level of the mind, on the level of very similar to what we have done today, on a very unconscious level, on the level of that comes from the karmic, in the order of things, from the karmic to the emotional, to the mind, to the physical, to the action state, to the reality, which is reaction from the world around us, from other people. Okay? One last thing. Any questions about this?
Yes.
Yes.
If you've done this, okay, and
Yes.
karma affects us from this life.
Yes.
So we have 2 or 3 from each past life experienced. So I don't see how can I create light from all these past lives, changing our energy.
You can't see it? You're trying to do it here?
I don't know how to do it.
Beautiful. Would you like to learn how? Okay. Next week, same time. I'll start taking you step by step, and we'll learn how to do it. And now I'll explain to you maybe a little bit better of how that works. I believe we have one lifeline. It's the same line that I drew this way, now I drew it this way. to make it easier. I believe we had other lives before. And I believe those lives actually, this is timeline, okay? This is time. I believe all of us have one line, which is, as long as we are on that line, everything is okay. When we're outside of that line, it becomes a problem. Okay? At this moment on our line, our energy could not sustain our physical existence. So we had to try it again. And every time we are born, we receive another opportunity to do that. And then, if we do not do something here, we come to a question here. We either do it, or it starts closing down on us. What I suggest is, where we are today, usually if you are here today, you are at a moment of intersection, a moment of crossroads in your life. It's either starts closing down on you, right? Or you turn it into a vase, and you open it up again. And this is what we're learning how to do. The goal is, I believe, that we can make those vases right now in our life. I believe that we have come as humanity to a point where it doesn't need to close on us anymore. It doesn't have to close anymore. We live many lives in one. In the past, we couldn't do that. We were not able to do that. Not because there were not people that couldn't do that, but there were individuals. Today we can do it as humanity. Going back to the fact that children are asking questions that maybe years ago even elderly couldn't ask. And of course technology is part of the progress. I didn't talk about it, but it helps us to understand. It gives us ability to unite with people all over the world and really understand our unity, first through technology, and then recognize that that unity already exists inside of us. And then it gives us an opportunity to make a difference in the world, even with people we never met, and to know we're making it. So it's an incredible world we're living in, and everything coincides, and everything's in the right place. Okay? So this is pretty much what we're trying to do here. We're trying to catch ourselves in the moment. And usually that gives us a shock. Catch ourselves in this moment and open itself again. And this is what we're going to be learning in the course of how to do it. For that, what we need to do is literally, we're going to work with this diagram, with all those diagrams we're going to work. And we're going to work with this diagram where currently, right now, this comes down, right? So we are in a receiving mode of energy. Right now, when we did self-regulation, we were in the receiving mode of energy. Yes? We were receiving and we were observing. To be able to correct at the levels that you have concerned with, we have to change the flow of energy. We have to initiate signal. We have to be in a giving mode, but not in the giving that we understand as give, but we have to literally change the mode of energy, or like I said, turn, like I talked about the man in the boat, turn into the other direction. The river is flowing in this direction. The man is sitting in the boat and rowing. Right? It looks like a chicken. Why did I do that? Okay. Here's a man, okay? And he's rowing in that direction. He's very upset. He's very sad, right? But he's working real hard, right? The river is going in this direction, and he's rowing in this direction. And what we're trying to do energetically is change the flow of energy, change from the receiving to the giving, and then he turns into this direction, and he has a smile on his face. Okay? And that's all. That's all it takes. Just graphically to understand. It doesn't take that much.
Okay, that means not to oppose yourself to anything happens and comes in your life.
You're doing excellent right now. You're doing beautiful. And let me show you where you're doing it. The theory that you are applying here is beautiful. The understanding is perfect, except you're doing it here. Yes. But until you stay here, you will be knowledgeable. You will know what you need to do. You will be in full agreement with others that know what they need to do. You will be, but inside, this will continue. You didn't stop it. Actually, as time moves forward, it becomes harder and harder and harder to achieve.
Doing it in K point, karma point.
Yes.
It's so hard to go back and fix your errors and mistakes and the fact you hurt people or whatever you did.
Was it hard for you today to bring back your asthma, the experience, and then come back to a calm and powerful state? Was it hard?
No.
Right, thank you. That's just as hard. It's just as hard, except we're going to raise the quality of our energy, and you're going to learn how to do it. Not to go against yourself. Right now, your mind is working against you.
I guess.
I will show you how to help the mind to go with the flow, with the river. And that's it. The trouble is that I can't get there without you. That's why I need you. That's my trouble. I can't get there without you. I can be rowing and rowing by myself. But I can't get there without you because we're part of the same body. And I can't keep it a secret from you either, even if I want to, because I'll feel the pain. So here we are, both of us, in the same place. I can understand how and do it all my life, but until you join me at this, there's nothing for me. Okay? That makes sense? Okay. And not at the mind level. It's good at the mind. It's excellent. Not enough. More questions? Good, thank you.
Would you tell us an idea today about how to do it? Just a small idea.
To tell you, I've shown you exactly. To give you an example of how we're going to work energetically, I've shown you. I've shown you the receiving end, the self-regulation part. Next time you are here, we will start working with the mind, and step by step, at the fourth lesson, we will be working with this. At the fourth lesson. Practically, because if I tell you right now, your form will not match your energy. And it will create an overwhelm. It will create a discomfort, exactly the same discomfort that you're feeling right now. I can enhance it for you if I tell you anything more. With all the respect, I will just enhance the discomfort inside. Because what happens is, it's like a balloon, right? And organically, the way life works, when you put air in the balloon, okay, the outside of the balloon, the rubber and the air are equal. That's organic system. Human system, the balloon and the air never match. And there's a gap. And that gap could be inspiring if it's small enough, or it could be overwhelming. If you take it, if you take yourself in front of a Mount Everest right now, it will be overwhelming. But if you take it one mountain at a time, you'll be perfect and you'll feel empowered. And the only thing that has to change is the energy inside. So we work with the energy. Every time we come here, I teach you. I give you exercise. I give you a routine to do at home for a week. You practice it, we come back, we take a notch higher. You practice it, we come back, I give you the next higher. So every time the energy matches the experience. And then we have no overwhelm, we have no gaps, just like we did today with the energy from the inside. Everything we're going to be working with, we're going to have a matching energy to work. And then step by step. But I showed you the goal. I spoke of the direction. I spoke of the global and of your personal needs. We did the diagnosis, and you probably know your needs, exactly what you need to achieve in your life, what you came for and what you're missing. And I don't have to tell you that. Yeah? You will have a completely different world by the time we're done. Your world will be a completely different world. Guaranteed. 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 If the world is not different, I didn't say you're going to reach your potential. Because you know why you won't reach the potential? Not because the tools don't work. It's because the only time we reach it is when we reach it together. So other people have to rise. It's a pyramid, the way it works. What happens is there's stages of development, right? And most people are in the lower stage, masses, right? There are some people on a little bit higher, but there are less of them. Some people on the higher, less of them. Some people higher, less of them. Some people higher, less of them. Higher, less of them. Higher, less of them. Right? Now, what happens is once you reach this stage, until these come to yours, you can't move up. And therefore, we become teachers. And therefore, we become an inspiration for others. And therefore, we are forced to share our goodness, our love, our experience with others. And therefore, right? So it's a lifetime experience. But one thing is guaranteed. You will have the tools to do it. And your life will not be the same. That's guaranteed. And everybody hears it. If at the end you say, Erik, I don't have the tools, you'll know. But no, it never happened. Okay, because it works. Okay, but we'll still have to work on ourselves. We don't stop working on ourselves in 5 weeks. Yeah,
Never stop that.
No. But now at least you're not rowing in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? It's a completely different life experience. And it doesn't matter what others around you are doing anymore. Anymore. Okay. Think about that. Okay. More questions? Okay. Thank you. See you next week.